I'm going to try to make some Valentine's Day earrings. I'm going to clean out my mold. This is a Sculpey mold. And I'm going to use an alcohol wipe to do that. They don't tell you to do this. I'm only doing it because it got a little lint inside when I got a little lint in here when I tried to open the packaging. So this will dry, it won't hurt it, and since this little cloth is still wet with alcohol, and while this is drying, I'm going to set this to the side and then just clean off my surface with the alcohol wipe. This is typically how I keep it clean, and I clean it before I work and after I work. This one is going to be fun. I might start with this instead of the liquid mold, because the liquid mold, for that, what I'll be doing is pretty simple. I'll just be mixing the colors, and then I'll have to find a way to poke a hole in. I have to find a way to poke a hole in the shape. So while I'm thinking about that, I think I'll just clean this off, make something different, and just go with that. I am going to use some white. This is Sculpey Primo, and I'm going to use some white and roll it out. I have these little gauges. They're depth guides for this roller I got at Michael's, and you just slide them on, and so I'll be using that. And then of course my tweezers, which have a fine tip, and then I also have a needle tool. This is my silicone tool that I try to keep clean after each use, but as you can see it's not, but I just think that's so pretty on there. I kind of want to keep it on there. Oh, and I have these extra pink colors that I mixed about 5 or 6 months ago, so they're just on my desk, so I'll probably use those up. But yeah, so I'm going to start with the white clay, and this is my first time making this particular design, so we'll see how it goes. These are scraps, but they're from the same cane, so I'm trying to keep them in that area. That's one thing I will suggest, is just clean as you go. This is acetone, so now I'm going to clean off with acetone before I get started. I know I keep saying I'm about to start, but I want this a little clean, or a little bit cleaner than it is right now. I just have a few paper towels that I'm using, and I don't really have that much of an issue with lint. I mean, it happens, but it's not that bad. And typically I'll take one of the alcohol wipes and just wipe my fingertips off, so I'm going to do that. I believe I'm going to get a big bottle of alcohol so that I don't have to keep using these little wipes, because that's a lot of waste, and I don't like a lot of waste. Okay. These are giving me mailbox vibes. I don't know how it would turn it into a mailbox, but I'm getting mailbox vibes. So I'm going to keep that in mind for this arch shape. This is going to be a cute purse with a little heart on it. So I'm gonna put this to the side like that. Okay, so let me grab my white clay. I'm not going to need very much. I'm only going to make a couple. Oh gosh, I forgot to clean my blade. Grab that. Okay, goodness gracious. This can stick to there. So be very careful while cleaning your blade. I've cut myself multiple times within the past year with this. This is not the sharp side that I'm cleaning right now. And for the sharp side, I don't rub back and forth because I am not trying to cut myself with this blade again. I just pick it off and it tends to work pretty well. Another way to clean off the tip of your blade is to take some clay and run your blade just like that through it. And it will leave a little bit of residue, but it tends to get those extra bits of clay. And this is translucent, so it won't mess up the white clay. And she's had to pick up the little lint and whatnot too. So now I'm going to cut off a little bit of white clay. I tend not to use as much as I think. So this one is Primo White. And I'm looking for the packaging. There we go. Put that to the side. I'm going to go ahead and roll this out. It's a little dusty, a little dirty, but it's okay. Once I add the texture and whatnot, and probably add a little shimmer to this, it'll be fine and it'll cover it up. What I like to do is work in small sections, especially during the winter time, because the clay gets pretty hard. So, and what I do most of the time is to just squish it like this to condition it, depending on how soft it is. And if it's not soft enough to do that, like if I know I'm going to get tired quickly, I'll just take my roller and flatten it. And then after this piece is workable, I will add the next piece. Another helpful tip is to chop this up into tiny pieces with your blade and then add some clay softener. But I'm not going to do that today because it's not crumbly, which is good. It's just not kneading quite as fast as I would want it to. So I will condition this and then we'll continue with the project. Okay, so I have conditioned my clay. Now I am just trimming. I need to see how wide it needs to be. Um, like the length is fine, but I just need to make sure that I have enough width because I can see that I have enough length to cut out multiples. Um, so right now I am just going through using the lines on this glass mat as guides to get straight lines. I didn't do this at first, but it helps when I am cutting out my shapes because what I learned that the middle a lot of times for me is thicker than the edges, and so even though I think it's even, it's still not. Oh, I sliced through it. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this in half because, and I just needed a clean shape to start with because I am going to roll this to the thickness of, I think this is 1/8 inch of the blue rings. Actually, I like this size here, so I think I might just have it stick to itself. I have not decided yet. I don't know what I'm doing. This is a test run. So what I'll do is just leave it like that. That'll be 2. Let's see, 1, 2, and then 3 if I want it. But I'm going to get 2 shapes out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them out like so. And I'm so grateful that it stuck to my mat or to the glass. Just cutting out 2 shapes. I used my pasta roller to condition this and to get it that thickness. And I do not know the measurements because the one I purchased was extremely cheap. So I have no idea what the measurements are or how thick this is. It's similar to this though, so it might be 1/8. I can put it up there. Yeah. It's about 1/8. Okay. And I don't know what setting that was on my pasta roller because the knob is messed up and the numbers don't align. So that won't be helpful. But it's about 1/8 inch. I have some texture rollers that I'm going to use to texture my clay. Or texture mat. I haven't decided, but I know I'm going to texture these. I got out my newest texture sheets, and these are double-sided, and I'll just take them out to show you. So these are, I like this one. I don't know if y'all have seen that sandpaper texture, but that's this. I might go for this because it's subtle. So I like this one and this one. And then I have what's like floral or landscaping. This one's okay. Okay, that's cute. Giving me heart vibes. This one, I'll go with this one just to try something different. Why not? So I'll put these to the side. Oh, and then these are texture rollers. So you just roll them on the clay like your normal roller and they leave a texture. Okay. So I chose, oops. Wish that would stop moving. Okay, I chose this floral heart arrangement, this motif. Normally, I do it before I cut out my shapes, but this time I did it backwards. So let me move the scraps out of the way. And what I'll do is just place this on top how I normally would. I think I want the hearts to go up and down instead of sideways. I don't know how much of it you'll see, but again, this is a test run, so it's fine if it doesn't turn out how I initially expected. So I'll just take my roller and oops, and I am going to hold it and just roll it across like this to make sure it sticks, because if it moves it'll shift the pattern and I don't like that. So I'm going to roll it one more time. Okay, it's looking how it's looking. Not bad. That did not get any texture, but that's okay. So I am going to take the smaller version of this shape and cut out the middle. That's just about the middle. And then do the same on this one. That's going to be the middle today. And it's stuck. Sometimes you can keep the pieces in the middle, sometimes you can't. And so I'm just going to poke this out with my needle tool and set it to the side with my scrap clay. And then this one, since I can't keep the other one, I'm not going to worry about this one either, and just set that to the side as well. Now, I got my mini cutters, and I'm hoping that I have a heart in here. Thought I had a tiny heart, but I do not see one. I see this heart. That's cute. And that's a little lemon or leaf. And I do use these to make leaf shapes. They're helpful because of how small they are. Oh, I didn't realize I had this teardrop shape. That's okay. And I don't know what that is. Kind of a starburst. Let's see. I think I will go with the heart. I don't feel like it's too much. At least it won't be today. And I am going to set the heart right in the middle of these pieces. So about here. I'll try to center it. Okay, so now I guess I'll go with red, or do I want to do pink? I don't know. Since these are a test run, I will. This is going to bubble a lot. So what I'll do is texture this as well, but with that subtle texture that I liked. This one. Okay, so these pieces right here, I'm going to move those out the way. I'm just going to take my blade and run it under and set them to the side. I try not to put them on the edge because I will roll over the shape and mash them. That is not what we're going for today. That's a look, but not today's look. So now I'm going to roll this out super thin and cut out 2 hearts to go in the center of that shape. Oops. There we go. I get the most even pressure when I stand up, and when you not trim the clay, when you roll out the clay, oops. Yeah, I get the most even pressure when I stand up. But when you roll it in different directions, you can really see which ones are the thickness that you want it. is good enough for today. Oh, let me texture it first. I forgot already. So this is a very light texture. It's not going to give the exact sandpaper look, but it will give just enough to hopefully go what I'm looking for. I'm going to hold it and roll. Roll. I tend not to put enough pressure on the edges, and so that's what I'm going to start working on, is rolling the edges well. And then the third time. Okay. I don't like that, but I'm going to use it anyway. Okay. So I just need 2 hearts. Okay, that's cute. It's cute on a tiny heart, though. That's cute. Oh, okay. So I did think of my other idea, but what I'll do is just go ahead and move this out of the way, and I can stick this back down if I need to. So it's fine that I didn't go ahead and cut it at the moment. I'm going to take these. They got a little squishy, like they're not the exact heart shape that they were before, but I still like it. So take these and place this right in the center. And the vibe I'm going for is Valentine's Day handbag. I don't know if I achieved that. I don't know what else I can do to it to get that look. But I am getting Valentine's Day handbag. I don't know. I'll ask my mom when she comes home. These are cute. Okay, I do like that. I think it's cute. I'm trying to think of how to make it more handbaggy. I thought handbaggy. I thought about making indentions here, on each side, but I don't know if that will translate well. Okay, since I have a lot of this, I'm not really going to worry about using it for something. Now, if this is cute, I'm going to have to roll it back out. Let's test that out. Where's my little, there. So, the little top part. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. Okay. And I'm going for handbag. And so, let's see if making an indentation on each side will help. Not really, but I could take just the tiniest amount of clay and roll it out. Right now I'm troubleshooting. I like to watch tutorials, but I also like the people think through what they're doing, so you can kind of know why they made the choices. So when you're working on certain projects and you come across a similar issue, you can also troubleshoot. So what I'll do is just add that here and trim it. Then add another piece to this side. I'm not getting handbag, I'm getting bib. Now I'm getting a bib. I don't know. I'll just leave it like that. And if I think of something to make this look more like a Valentine's Day handbag, then I will. Actually, I think that is working as a handbag. Let's see. Let's just pick it up. You know what? I'm getting handbag. I am. This, it might also benefit it to have a little piece going. Yes, okay. I know what I'm going to do now. So, I am going to take one of my pieces, grab some of my scrap white clay. You can use an extruder if you have it. I'm not getting mine out. An extruder pushes the clay through a cylindrical, through a tube, and you have a shape on one end, and whatever shape you choose, that's the shape that comes out when you push it through the tube. I don't know if I explained that well, but that's what it's going to be today. Okay, and I'm just going to take this and I'm going to curve it up and tap it down so the clay meets. This is a handbag now. Cute. Okay, I trimmed off too much on the other side, but that's okay. It looks cute and pink, and especially in that texture. Okay, there's that one. So I'm just going to tap this down, and I don't mind if there's a little bit of fingerprints left over, but yeah, that's giving me handbag instead of bib. Okay. Oh, the trim could have been pink. That's okay. This is just a test run. Oops. I probably should not have done that, but that's okay. They're going to be of different thicknesses, but they will live. Okay. So now I'm just going to take this one and do the same thing, make it curve. Okay, I'm pleased. I'm very pleased. There. And now, okay, another way to prevent from getting the fingerprints I talked about, take your, if you have a silicone tool, you can use that, and it doesn't really leave indentations unless you press very hard, but it at least helps not to have fingerprints. There. Okay. So these just need to be baked and added to an ear hook. I think I'm going to use a hook for these. So I'm going to bake them and then figure out how I want them to dangle. Gather all my supplies again, but I'm going to clean off my mat a little bit before I start, because why not? Clean in between. Okay, so while that dries, I'll stop kneading this so I don't make it too bubbly. But I am going to shape it. If you shape your clay into a rectangle, when you roll it out, it'll give you a rectangle shape. And one way I do that, I just take it and press it up against my glass mat, and that's to get the dimple out the middle. But yeah, also helps with canes. So now I'm going to take this and roll it out to 1/8 inches. And I press hard at first, but I'm learning not to continue to press the same amount, because it'll dip in the middle kind of if you put too much pressure on the middle or the ends, even though it has the guide on there. So I have noticed that. So this is light pressure a lot of times, and even though this is not a square, it's still even on the edge, which I like. I like to flip it as well. But don't wait until it's really the thickness you want to flip it, because if you do, then you won't be able to roll out some of the bubbles or other imperfections. Okay, and before I grab my texture mat, I'm going to pick out some of the lint that I see. And grab my texture sheet, press it down, and roll it on to stick it. And I think 3 gave me a good texture last time. I'll go 3 rolls both ways. 3 rolls down and then 3 rolls up. Here. Why can't I get an even texture? Because I need 2 of these pieces. Oh no. Okay. Hopefully I get 2. Okay, so there's 1. And, oh no. I got part of 2. Not completely, but part. That's okay. Something's better than nothing. There we go. And since these are already thin how I want them, I'm going to roll them back down. Actually, I'm just going to press them back down with the texture mat. If it adds more texture, fine. If it doesn't, that's okay too. It did add more texture. And I'm doing that so I can cut out the hearts that I had on the other purse. And I need to remember to save some for the embellishment to make it look like a handle. I'm going to move all of these out of the way. Here it is. Use my blade and boop. Okay. And then let me do the same thing to this one. Now the backs, these look good. A lot of times they don't. I have a trick for that to make them look just fine. So if your backs are a hot mess, don't cry about it. There's ways to fix it. Okay. There. I could say this since they were fine, but that's okay. I already picked them out. There. Okay. And so now I'm going to take my little hearts and place them on there. And I know it's monotone right now, but I have an idea. And now let me bring these closer to me. Oh, oops. There we go. That's okay. Add my little embellishment to make it look like a purse. And I'm using the pieces that were in here, that were in that negative space. Alright. little thinner than the white one because I want them even, unlike the white one. This is a lot better. Okay, that's too thin. And so I'm just going to roll them in certain areas. There we go. And take it like last time. I'm going to drape it over the clay. And trim. Each side. And if your clay protrudes off the side, you can always sand that later or leave it. You can't really tell. And place this. Okay. I think I might trim it. Sanding is not my favorite thing to do, so I'm just going to trim the edge. Okay, here is my idea. I have these 3 liquid mica colors. At first, I was going to do silver, but then I remembered I have pink quartz, and this is what it looks like. I am going to put some pink quartz mica, liquid mica, on the heart to make it stand out. Since it is my 3D component, and I'm shaping it because instead of dipping my brush inside of the tub, I like to dip my brush in the top. And I'm just taking it, getting a good amount on there, and adding it to the heart. Since it's 3D, and I want it to stand out. And I'm adding some now. You can also add some after it's baked. I'm also pressing it down because I realized I did not do that before. So I'm trying to do that with this and then smooth it back out. And I feel like this just adds a little pizzazz. That's cute. Oh, so precious. And the liquid mica came from the Crystal Art Company. These now need to be baked. They bake at 275 for the craft version, but the advanced version of the Crafters Collection does not. Okay, I am going to bake these after the white purses are finished. I could have waited, but I didn't think about it. It's okay though.